Good morning everybody and welcome to the GSMS Pride. What a beautiful day it is outside. It's a little warm, but it's absolutely beautiful. There's not many clouds in the sky. The Blue Angel's been flying around because we've got the air show coming up. It's been absolutely awesome over here. It's a beautiful day and we can't be any happier. This week I'm going to put up a video about our continuous improvement meetings. They're really important to us. They've helped a lot. They also give back a lot to the group, the whole team as a store. So check that out and I'll see you all in a bit.
We need better outreach for employees fighting depression. Okay, who wrote it?
Tom?
Tom. Then it is a joke because there is nobody in here named Tom.
So quite some time ago I actually started the continuous improvement meetings and I never wanted to be actually present to them. The whole reason to doing it was just to try and get some feedback. You know, some of the best ideas I've ever come across, and I've always found this out as a leader, is to ask the boots on the ground. And I intended never to be in those meetings, but actually after the very first one that went really well, I was requested by those people in that meeting to be present. I took a lot of pride in when they did ask me because that meant, I guess, that they trust me to be able to talk about those things in front of me. So that was the main reason we started it, really just to improve the dealership as a whole. We kind of talk about a couple of things, the things that are going well and also the things that we should improve on, or just those little things that can go a long way.
So when we first started it, Jason actually wasn't involved in it, but then we thought it would be a good idea to have Jason there to actually hear our concerns and everything. So he sits in there and he writes everything down and gets it taken care of.
Continuous improvement, the goal is to basically find things that could be improved, honestly. Anything in the shop that needs addressing or anything in the employees feel could be better. We try to make progress in all areas, and the end goal is to improve.
It's really just a dartboard, honestly, just for anything that could improve the dealership. Like, it's really more broad than I thought. You know, some of the requests and things that are asked for in those meetings, I didn't think that you could ask for that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But it's really just an open forum, honestly.
Well, one of the biggest positives I learned about is I thought that they were going to ask a lot of stupid things, you know, like things that were never realistic. And actually, most people are very engaged to try and better the dealership. And they're all relatively small tweaks. One thing I did find is that you have to actually do those tweaks when they come up. Don't just acknowledge them and never do anything about it. But it goes a long way for appreciation. But one of the biggest things we actually gained out of it is that we lacked a lot of communication and we've got considerably better with the communication. We're not perfect, but we have definitely got better. That's been one of the biggest things that's come up on a regular basis.
Every time we have a meeting, at least one of the items gets addressed immediately, and all the other ones go to Jason or whoever needs to go to and gets addressed when it can, or if it's not feasible, they let us know. So they do get addressed.
Well, one of the most expensive big things we did is we renovated the washrooms and toilets and locker rooms for the service technicians. It seemed like we put a lot of band-aids on the dealership before, and that would hit home pretty well with the techs. I think they appreciated that I was willing to do it. And it was an expense, but it wasn't an extremely large expense given the return.
So one example would be when we did the renovations here in the waiting room. When I was back in the office, we had expressed that we needed a window. So if you go back there, you see that we have a window now. So that's one thing. I know the shop floors are going to be redone. That was another thing. So
one of the sales staff that should have probably been addressed a long time ago, they wanted to have something put in the women's restroom that should have been in there a long time ago, and it was taken care of. So it got done right away and was taken care of.
Honestly, everything, you know, because it's little stuff like getting the popcorn back, you know, making sure the fridge is stocked for customers to have waters and things like that. Honestly, everything, for the most part, you know, within reason, has been done.
We've had some silly requests at times. Actually, I have to bring this one up because it was one of the silliest requests I've had, but it was a very cheap one, so I was like, okay, let's do it. So we ended up, the technicians down in service wanted a a hot dog roller. We got one, and we ended up having the biggest month we've ever had the month after. So I guess it worked. I said to him, if that's all this took, I would buy one every single month. But that was one of the funniest ones that came up, which was silly, but it worked, a treat, I guess.
I think it's really good, to be honest with you, just because it is just like, for instance, the service department getting a hot dog roller. On the surface, that may seem not like such a big deal. But that's a big deal. You know, when you come to work, we spend a lot of time here. You know, when you come to work and you're able to, I guess, enjoy some of the little knickknacks of, you know, working for a place that's willing to do knickknack stuff for you. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it's cool. I think it's needed, actually, I think.
It's a way to, because it's kind of hard to get your ideas or things that you might want to Jason or other people, with our company being as large as it is, our dealership alone being as large as it is. So it's one way to get everybody to get a group together and say, hey, you know, this is what we think would work better, or, you know, I think it's just an easier way, and kind of bounce ideas off of this may not work, this may not work.
That's very useful because it gives us all a voice and lets them, you know, management, whoever needs to know what needs to be addressed and fixed. They may not know otherwise, so we find out as a group together what needs to be done.
So the biggest reason why this is so important is most people who work for you do want to work, okay? And the other thing is, most people want to feel part of something. Yes, do people come to work for money? Yes. But ultimately they want to feel part of something. And you have to give those people a voice. If you don't give those people a voice, then you'll never ever get them to the full potential. And you'll be surprised how many times that they come up with the craziest but best ideas. You have to start doing it as a dealership, because there are so many inner workings with the dealership. You'll never know as a leader really what's going on unless you sit down with them and let them actually vent those ideas. The easiest way to do it is really go around for each department, get a team leader for all the salespeople, all the technicians, all the porters, etc. Go to those people, make a list, and then I would recommend you do it for the first time without you present, if you're the main leader, if you're the general manager or whatever, because then they can speak openly. But you might be surprised that if you have a good relationship with your teams, that they might bring you in relatively quickly. That's it for this week's edition of the GSM's Pride. Like I said in the intro, the continuous improvement has been really important for us as a store. What it does, it gives all your employees a voice. It gives them a little bit more to think about every day, instead of just coming in and the monotonous, you know, grind of life. It gives them some of the things that we could do to help out. And one thing I'll tell you, if I can give you a little bit of tip about it, is this: even just the small stuff goes a long way. You know, we put a hot dog machine down in service. They rarely use it, but like I said, it costs $100 maybe, and that seems to go really far with them. Also, we got popcorn machines. Popcorn machine just came back out in the sales department. But all those small little things that they ask for, if you do these continuous improvement meetings, I would highly recommend that you do as much as you can when they ask for it, because it gets very pointless if you don't do anything. Obviously, you're going to get some of the silly, you know, not realistic requests, but if that's the case, just make sure you address those and go from there. I was never really planned to be in the continuous improvement meetings, but they really wanted me in those. My plan was originally just to let them do it and then present it to me and I'll go through it, but they wanted feedback, so I went in, and that seems to work really well. And it gives a little bit of togetherness for all three departments at the same time, and we have porters and everything else in there, so everyone gets to spend some time. As always, I'm going to put up a video on this side. Just click through that, it really helps me. On this side, I'm going to put up a link to my subscription. Up in the top corner there, a link to the subscription to the Lou Fuse Ford page. Please check that out. Hit that like button, hit that post notification button, subscribe to the page, and I'll see you all next week.